My bad, the other part was so short and abrupt ending, y'all. I ain't gonna lie, we about to, you know what I mean? I got time today. Y'all can hear shit? I can't hear nothing.
After moving to Canada to continue his studies and sharpen his skills as a singer-songwriter on the side, soon Sidhu moved to After moving to Canada to continue his studies and sharpen his skills as a singer-songwriter on the side, soon Sidhu Moosewala would have the opportunity of a lifetime to break into the music industry, when he would land a massive placement as a songwriter when he wrote the track License for another Punjabi rapper called Ninja, being credited prominently on the cover
my
as the
shit deadass keeps cutting
So
out,
intelcartel.org, go over there and apply, and hopefully see you soon.
Oh, now it didn't want to cut out for the ad.
After moving to Canada to continue his studies and sharpen his skills as a singer-songwriter on the
Kept,
side,
I don't
soon
know if y'all
Sidhu
hear that shit. My headphones kept cutting out like every second, like the audio would just go blink and shit. You feel what I'm saying? And I'm looking at the OBS and it's saying that it's capturing the desktop audio. So I don't know if y'all can hear it, but my shit just kept cutting out for a second, bro. That shit was dead, just pissing me off. I ain't even gonna lie. My bad, Joe. What's going on? Thank y'all for 1,000, man. I ain't even get no intro out.
Swallow would have the opportunity of a lifetime to break into the music industry, when he would land a massive placement as a songwriter when he wrote the track License for another Punjabi rapper called Ninja, being credited prominently on the cover as the writer under his given name.
That's how you get in the industry.
Now sitting at over 20 million views, the track became a hit, and Sidhu's talent for songwriting was undeniable. He would later perform the song himself upon his return home to Punjab at his old GNE college. Sidhu then spent the next year honing his craft and writing skills, garnering up a list of massive singles of his own. Eventually, he would release his debut song from this collection of recordings, a track titled G-Wagon, which came out on the 2nd of July 2017, a track which was a sudden hit that quickly put Sidhu on the radar of Punjabi music fans. The song itself was a much more traditional Punjabi pop song, and Sidhu, whilst displaying his talent as a singer, hadn't quite yet fully fused his style with the American hip-hop elements that would later make his music so unique. But he had begun his solo career, and from here he would continue developing as an artist song by song. From there, he would slowly put out 9 tracks that comprised his debut album, with him improving and evolving each time. This was an unconventional release strategy, but it worked well for him. His next track was Mustang, which would circulate later in July 2017. Now the beat itself was a very generic American hip-hop beat, but it's kind of like a crappy stock beat from like Hip Hop EJ from 2016. But Sidhu took that beat and he sung and rapped in his native tongue Punjabi, with the end result being incredibly original. Despite being a Punjabi track, thematically, Sidhu's music was dealing with topics much more at home on an American gangster rap album. Fast cars were becoming a clear motif, with his 2 tracks released so far being inspired by cars popular in America, the G-Wagon and a Mustang. Sidhu would also rap about his ops chasing him with their foot on the gas pedal as he clutches a Draco, the gun beloved by drill rappers from all over the world, with Sidhu claiming that his Draco sings the tune of his enemies' funerals. He was thin. Mustang would be followed up by more music like the track Lifestyle featuring Banker, which leaked in late July and was uploaded to YouTube in November 2017. The track titled Lifestyle was a stark look at the street lifestyle that Sidhu had grown up living, with references to armed conflicts with his ops, revenge killings, and living and dying by the gun. He would rap that his AK-47 keeps an eye out for him, as well as having guns and bullets tattooed on his body. He'd talk about having a gangster state of mind that runs in his blood and killing any ops that stood in their way, with Sidhu rapping all about sticking people up at gunpoint and how the country boys used to run their town. Sidhu was jumping on the mic and talking gangster like a real drill rapper.
I was about to say he was getting on the mic talking that shit.
Up to a breakthrough moment. Sidhu was honing a unique musical style, blending the Punjabi flavour of music with gritty lyrics about the gun-toting street life he grew up around, and soon the world would wake up to this unique style in a big way. In August 2017, Sidhu released his first breakthrough single, the astronomical hit titled So High. The song itself now sits over 750 million views, by far one of his biggest songs to date. This track reached numbers that many of the mainstream artists in the West would dream of attaining, and the track itself was a textbook example of why they call Sidhu Moosewala the Tupac of India. It had a booming beat that was like a timeless American rap beat, and in his bars, he was rapping about American tropes like having lowriders and appearing in the video surrounded by gangsters in what I assume is the trenches of Canada. The song itself painted a dark picture of a life of crime and violence in a way that few Punjabi musicians had done before, rapping about guns, claiming his hobbies are dangerous and life-threatening, with Sidhu claiming to keep loaded pistols on him and making the local gangsters fear him. Sidhu also seems to show a certain amount of self-awareness on the track, explaining how his gangster approach to music has landed him big record deals in Canada, and he goes on to brag about how dropping 4 singles in a month had other pop chart stars intimidated by his monumental rise. And Sidhu was spitting facts. In the space of just a few months, having released G-Wagon, Mustang, Lifestyle, and So High, he had become one of the most buzzing prospects in the Punjabi music scene. So High set the standard for Sidhu's career, and he essentially cemented his legacy as this track alone almost birthed
once you go on a run, bro, niggas will be scared of you. That's real shit. Niggas will be scared of what you can accomplish. Once you start your run, bro, niggas will start to fear you. And that's just a fact.
Become one of the most buzzing prospects in the Punjabi music scene. So High set
especially
the standard for Sidhu's career,
slow
and he
for everybody else,
cemented his legacy as this track alone almost birthed an entire new genre of Western-inspired Punjabi music, as he would mix his hybrid singing and rapping style over traditional folk Punjabi instruments and melodies, combining that with Western trap 808 beats, much more at home in an Atlanta strip club than a small Punjabi village. The song So High resonated deeply, and not only in Punjab itself, but also with the westernized South Asian communities living in the West, such as in the UK, and particularly Canada, where Sidhu had studied. And Sidhu was seemingly a genius at blending this Western gangster rap culture with his native Punjabi elements, and he did it in a way that unlocked a new audience of over 1 billion people around the world. One great example of this actually occurred just 2 months after dropping his hit song So High, around the time of Atlanta rapper 21 Savage, who was going viral for his interview, where he famously described the tattoo on his forehead, saying, "It's a knife."
What does the cross on your forehead signify?
It's a knife.
Sidhu would go on to drop a new song with a Punjabi play on words based on 21 Savage's catchphrase, "It's a knife," with Sidhu's new song being titled Issa Jat. Featuring violent lyrics over a booming trap beat, Issa Jat now sits at over 90 million views. And of course, Jat doesn't mean knife. Jat actually refers to the landowning class in Sidhu's native Musa in Punjab, with the implication being that these are the tough, hardworking people who are warriors, with a suggestion that some of these Jats are indeed hardcore gangsters.
Jats are land-owning class of Punjab, India, as well as Pakistan. And everyone who says Jats are hardcore gangsters does not know shit. Jats do not go out looking for trouble, but they are warriors. Jats differ from Tarkans, who are a bit lower in the caste system. Also, Jats in UK/US are also hardworking people. Most drive cabs, trucks, but usually they end up making a lot of money and buy several gas stations, subways. Other than that, if you see a Jat, holla at them. White Taurus, who is that guy driving the track and meter? That's a Jat, you stupid, arrogant cracker. What the fuck? What the fuck? Jat runs over the redneck with a cat. Yo, who made that? This Urban Dictionary. Who put this definition?
Tough, hardworking people who are warriors, with a suggestion that some of these Jats are indeed hardcore gangsters too. And in the lyrics, Sidhu raps about pulling up on his ops, with them running scared and screaming, "It's a Jat." The song itself contained numerous lyrics and references to guns. Sidhu would also talk with confidence about his career, bragging that he's stealing the fans' hearts with his prolific run of dropping 9 songs in 15 days. And following the success of "It's a Jat," Sidhu wasn't about to take his foot off the gas. In early January, Sidhu would drop another major hit in his catalogue, the track Just Listen, which now sits at over 211 million views. The song itself was a boastful affair, less concerned with lyrics about violence and more focused on Sidhu standing up to his haters, and explaining how his work rate has the music industry hateful and jealous towards him, as well as hinting at the greatness that was on the way for his music career. This was a breakthrough moment for Sidhu on an international level, as Just Listen ended up becoming his first internationally charting single, landing at number 12 in the UK's Asian music charts. And from here, Sidhu continues his spree of hit singles with 3 more tracks. 2 of those songs, Tokan and Famous, also landed on the same charts at number 20 and 17 respectively. The love song It's All About You was very much for the ladies, which had a music video dropping on Valentine's Day 2018, a video which today sits at over 115 million views. By this point, Sidhu was getting his first live show bookings, but these weren't without controversy, as people would turn up to protest against his vulgar and violent lyrics. However, the controversy was only helping Sidhu cultivate a bad boy image. Sidhu would continue his momentum with his next single, Tokan, which had a huge budget music video. The video dropped on May the 17th, 2018, and today has a whopping 340 million views. The tractor-themed video would pay homage to his farming roots, with the song's
146 million views. The thumbnail, 350 million plus views.
million views. The tractor-themed video would pay homage to his farming roots, with the song's hook using a slick double entendre to threaten his ops with being dragged from the back of a tractor if they cross him. The song was a unique Punjabi spin on gangster rap that felt completely fresh and exciting. On the song, Sidhu would sing and chant in his native Punjabi tongue about having shooters on his team, doing this over another unique beat that blended those Punjabi melodies with American hip-hop 808 drum patterns, making for a
singing
certified
about
banger
how they
that
gonna
doesn't sound
pack you
like
up is
anything else
crazy.
in the West. But even more interesting was the outro of the song, where Sidhu would deliver an uplifting message reminding his listeners of their revolutionary spirit, and warning the listener that the people he represents aren't the sweet-talking businessmen who like to be flashy, but actually the down-and-out jats who drive tractors and have short tempers. This was a kind of warning to the world that Sidhu is the leader
tough,
and
though.
the voice of this working-class youth of jats who he represented with his
That's
music.
tough.
It
Yeah, I
was
was
deep
just
stuff,
about to say
borderline
he the working
revolutionary,
class,
and one of
like,
the most
face.
striking reasons that Sidhu Moosewala has been compared with Tupac Shakur. Because beyond making great music that spoke the language of his generation, Tupac also used his music and profile as a platform to promote political messages of black empowerment. His music was intended to uplift and electrify his generation of inner-city youths in America, and that was perhaps what made Tupac so dangerous to the establishment. Sidhu's next banger was the appropriately titled track Famous, and the song itself was kind of Sidhu's own announcement to the world that he was indeed famous. It was one of those songs where a rapper goes from next up to actually up. By this point in his career, Sidhu had
Like,
truly arrived.
for example, for all my, like, you know, US fans, that's like, you know, when YB dropped Untouchable, or not Untouchable, Vulnerable, whatever. No, it was called Untouchable, wasn't it? But yeah, basically, like, or when Lil Baby dropped Whoa. You feel what I'm saying? It's like, all right, this motherfucker was building. All right, they blew. Oh, all right, this what it is then. All right, bet, say that.
And in the song, he would rap about the fact that people now pay to meet him, and now
Yeah,
he
that
has
bitch was
haters
called
burning with
Untouchable.
jealousy,
It
as well as
wasn't.
having
I know it
losers
wasn't.
trying to be famous by trying to fight with him. And this was all true, because by now, Sidhu Moosewala was a huge star. His next song, Dark Love, with a video released on July the 6th, 2018, today has an insane 177 million views. And this video depicted Sidhu as a kingpin executing his ops, as well as rapping about being a killer who fell in love and how his G-Wagon had been used in murders, suggesting that he's now got that rapping about being
The one who used to distribute murders for money fell in love with life when he saw you. Fell in love with life when he saw you. It was used to distribute murders and all sorts of illegal work. Yo, that's crazy.
being a killer who fell in love and how his G-Wagon had been used in murders, suggesting that he's now got that same G-Wagon following a woman. Now, whether or not Sidhu Moosewala was actually arranging murders at this point is debatable, but what was true was the fact that since he became the hottest thing in Punjabi music, he had a lot of people pissed off, and in the midst of all of his musical output, a rivalry was brewing in the scene that had the potential to turn violent, and soon, fans who wanted to crown Sidhu Moosewala as India's Tupac might have just found their Biggie Smalls.
Might have just found a Biggie Smalls. It's crazy.
Despite Sidhu Moosewala earning the crown as one of the greatest Punjabi rap stars to do it in a very short space of time, he was by no means the first or only artist to occupy this space. Karan Aujla is a Canadian Punjabi artist who, just like Sidhu, saw a meteoric rise to the top of the music scene in the late 2010s. Granted, Karan Aujla had a head start on Sidhu in the music game, releasing his debut single Cell Phone back in 2014, but it wasn't until around 2018-19 that he was reaching the same heights as Sidhu. Jaskaran Singh Karan Aujla was originally from the Gurala village in the Ludhiana district of Punjab. Ludhiana is one of the most populous and largest cities in Punjab, which meant that Karan's upbringing was a lot different from Sidhu's. Famous for its apparel industry, Ludhiana has sometimes been called the Manchester of India, because in the UK, Manchester is kind of England's next largest city after London, and it's been known for centuries for its cotton and clothing production. So Ludhiana is basically the fabric hotspot of Punjab. Famous for its huge collections of fabrics, woolens, hosiery, even the textiles equipment that are exported to various other parts of the country. So think about the contrast between these two guys. Sidhu is from a small village. Musa is known for being a salt of the earth, tractor-driving street kid, or Jat, whereas Karan actually grew up in the city, surrounded by more people and fashion. It's a completely different world, but just like Sidhu, Karan had an early interest in music, especially lyricism, and he would get his start ghostwriting for other established artists. After starting his career as a lyricist for Jasai Gill's song Range. As well as Gill, he was a ghostwriter for Mangat, Garan Kokri, and many other prominent artists in this space. However, again, just like Sidhu, after initial success and seeing his songwriting lead to hits, he would become a solo star in his own right, and his 2016 debut song, Property of Punjab, put him on the map musically. The video itself had some similar motifs to Sidhu's, like a tractor working in a field at the start of the video. But Karan walks from that tractor straight to a mansion surrounded by supercars, which kind of goes to show you, even from his debut song, he wanted to present the image of moving away from the fields of the working class to the flashy life of cars and mansions. Kind of the opposite of what Sidhu Moosewala was trying to do, staying in touch with his working class roots and identifying proudly as a Jat. From here, Karan Aujla.
Bro, it's like, that was the past. I came up though, I'm rich now. Fuck all that other shit. And then bro was like, no, I'm still that. I'm still that. Like, you feel what I'm saying? I'm not switching shit up.
Would build up an incredible buzz in the Punjabi music scene, releasing track after track on an impeccable run that put him on the map.
Like, I bet that's not the reason they started beefing. It might be, it might not be, but We gonna see in the video, but I could see why they started beefing. Not that that's the reason, but I could see why, based on just their world views and how they did that little one situation right there with the tractors and the music videos. You feel what I'm saying? Like how they ideals clash. You feel what I'm saying?
Very much in the same way as Sidhu when he started his career. Karan would drop tracks like the female-focused Yarian Shafiq, as well as a song called Unity, which also came with a West Coast hip-hop inspired video actually filmed in the hood of LA's Inglewood. From there, he dropped the party track Alcohol 2, a sequel to another collab he'd done called Alcohol, and Lafafe, the latter of which was reportedly a diss track aimed directly at Sidhu Moosewala. This song would come out in March 2018, but it turned out that their beef had apparently started behind the scenes back in 2017. The pair were apparently cordial together until sometime in 2017, a leaked video of Sidhu threatening Aujala would cause tensions between them to rise. According to Ellie Mangat, an artist whom both collaborated with, a video was leaked to Karan's management where Sidhu had been dissing Karan. This apparently caused back and forth violent threats between the two, and around this time, Karan released a new song called Up and Down, which he wrote for an artist called Deep Jandu. And the song included several lines which could be interpreted as disses towards Sidhu, hinting at being betrayed by a loser former friend and calling out somebody for acting like a lion but really being a snake. At this point, these were just little behind the scenes jabs, which music fans wouldn't have likely picked up on, but that would all change when Karan Aujala decided to drop his song Lafafe on the 15th of March 2018, a track which today sits around 30 million views and was the first public escalation in this beef. Lafafe translate to envelopes or polybags, a reference to somebody giving bribes to get ahead, with this potentially being a sneak diss at Sidhu, suggesting that he actually paid to get ahead in the music industry, portraying him as some kind of industry plant, as well perhaps a way of dragging Sidhu's supposed future ambitions in politics by kind of labeling him as a corrupt, with the hook of the song basically saying that they will burn the envelopes that Sidhu used to get ahead. But things would go much deeper than just the title, as many lyrics on the track appeared to take subliminal shots at Sidhu directly. The song begins with a sample of Sidhu singing the lyrics of Sanam Bular, the other artist featured on this diss track, so kind of calling Sidhu a fan, with Sanam Bular then dissing Sidhu, calling him a fake gangbanger, as well as mentioning people imitating Tupac, who famously was indeed one of Sidhu's biggest influences, as he would claim that he would beat the Tupac imitators with hockey sticks. He would then lean into the tough guy persona on this track, rapping about having goons in his crew and saying that half of his friends are in jail and the rest are on the run. Karan Aujala then begins his verse, taking shots at Sidhu, calling him a fake gangster who looks up the names of guns for his songs on Google. He would call out his haters and say that his ops envy him and he loves making them mad. Now this track was a major provocation, and at this point the beef was publicly frying. When Lafafe dropped in March 2018, Sidhu was still on an impeccable run of dropping music, so he wouldn't officially respond to the track for a few months until after he released his latest hit song, Dark Love, in July 2018. But then,
said, I gotta get my shit off. Like, fuck it, I'm gonna dish you peons in a minute, bro. He said, I'm gonna spin back for you little niggas, but right now, bro, it's about me. It's about, I gotta go up. Cuz was like, man, fuck all that other shit, bro. I'm dropping hits. I ain't got time to beef with niggas. I'm dropping hits.
His latest hit song, Dark Love, in July 2018. But then, later that same month, after dropping that mainstream hit, Sidhu would get on Demon Time and prepare his response to Karan Aujala. He would then unofficially drop his response, Warning Shots, on the 20th of July 2018. The song features a frequent collaborator of Sidhu, Sonny Moulton, on the track. Sidhu directly responds to Lafafe and says that he actually made it to the top off the back of his hard work, rather than through envelopes or polybags that were mentioned on the diss song. He would then claim that Karan Aujala makes music only when he's smoking weed, and that the weed has ruined his ability to see that Sidhu is clearly better at rapping. Sidhu then references the leaks that surfaced online that caused this beef, saying that his unreleased leaks are better than Karan's official drops. Sonny Moulton then takes shots at Karan Aujala on his verse, questioning his street credibility and saying that he's not about that life. He then invites Karan to Brampton in Canada to show him a real gang block where they actually kill people. He'd even threatened to shoot, rapping that his gun loves smoking and that he wants to take it to Amsterdam. Sonny then rebuts the lyrics that were mocking Sidhu for being inspired by Tupac, saying that his ops are fans and they plan to ride on their ops just like Tupac did on Hit 'Em Up. Sidhu then directly mocks Karan Aujala and Sanam Bulla by referring to the music video for Lafafe, mentioning the scene where they show them beating up a group of men with hockey sticks, with Sidhu claiming to have made the guys in the videos with the sticks move with just one phone call, perhaps hinting that he can make a call and have real demons with hockey sticks pull up, or he might be saying that he called those specific people after seeing them in the video and pressed them. Next, Sidhu denies learning about guns that he raps about from the internet, saying that he always stays armed and claiming that he has the heart to shoot and get shot at, something that's eerily prophetic, as it was reported that
Y'all imagine if this nigga, I'm not naked by the way, y'all, I can come into the camera. I got shorts on my bottom half. I wasn't off camera because I was naked. I just don't think y'all niggas want to see me change. But imagine if you got like hitters in your video and then the nigga you dissing place a call and make them move. Like, the way I interpreted that shit was he placed a call and made them niggas move houses because he sent them boys at his, you mean? He sent them boys to their crib. Imagine you got hitters in your videos and the nigga you beefing with make them move. Nah.
armed and claiming that he has the heart. He denies learning. He might be saying that he called those specific people after seeing them in the video and pressed them. Next, Sidhu denies learning about guns that he raps about from the internet, saying that he always stays armed, and claiming that he has the heart to shoot and get shot at. Something that's eerily prophetic, as it was reported that Sidhu was actually the only man to shoot back at his attackers on the day that he was killed. Then Sidhu references the Up and Down song that Aujla wrote, saying that this song is a direct response, and that's followed by Sidhu claiming that he will check anybody who disses him. Now, this track was a major response and set the Indian music scene on fire. Fans would comment how this beat had catapulted both artists at the time and sparked far more interest in the Punjabi music scene than ever before. But now, other than threats sent back and forth between camps, this beef stayed primarily in music. However, it did create a large divide between both fan bases and caused a lot of fans to pick a side. Many discussions over who was the better artist would take place after this beef popped off publicly, with most people clearly choosing Sidhu Moosewala as the better artist and the winner of the beef. But at this point, these two artists were huge in the scene. Essentially, this beef would be like the current Kendrick Lamar versus Drake beef, but for the Punjabi scene. And naturally, this brought a whole lot of extra clout and attention to both artists. And Sidhu's next move off the momentum of this beef was about to be huge, because on the 18th of October 2018, Sidhu Moosewala released his first full-length album, PBX1, and he did it with the support of T-Series, India's biggest music label, and at one time PewDiePie's biggest op. Now, the cover art of PBX1
I was just about to say, one day the
Sidhu's
niggas
unique style. He'd be crouching on the front cover, rocking his turban, but with Western clothes in front of an American lowrider. This was the quintessential gangster rap for a Punjabi audience, and a completely unique and authentic look at the modern-day globalized Indian youth culture. Now, the production on this tape is much more focused on the American trap-style drums that match Sidhu's aggressive singing and lyrical content, but it still maintains that authentic Punjabi culture in the vocals and the melodies that make the project feel completely unique and fresh if you normally listen to Western gangster rap. Now, the project PBX1 resonated with Indians all over the world and was a huge success, with this generally being considered a classic album in the Punjabi rap world. It hit #1 on iTunes for Indian pop music, and it hit number 66 on Billboard's Canadian albums chart. This project went down as one of the great Punjabi projects and arguably is Sidhu's best work. At this point, he was cemented as a megastar in the Punjabi and especially Sikh communities. He was beloved in India and by Indians around the world, and he would even begin to tour internationally off the back of So High and PBX1's success. But it wasn't just Sidhu capitalizing on the momentum of this beef. That same month, Karan Aujla would begin dropping a string of hit songs that really saw him break into the next level of the Punjabi music scene. In October of 2018, just 2 days after PBX1 released, Karan Aujla dropped Don't Worry, which today has over 180 million views on YouTube. A track where he continued to lean into the gangster image that he'd been cultivating in his back and forths with Sidhu. And in the lyrics, he would hint towards using guns and threatening to kill anyone who looks at his girl. There'd even be a verse from a woman kind of playing the role of his girl, where she sings about being scared to tell him about her problems because he squeezes people like lemons. This kind of gangster love track sort of painted Karan Aujla as sort of the Ja Rule to Sidhu Moosewala's 50 Cent, with Sidhu kind of presenting the more authentic gangster image and sound in his music. And Karan Aujla would follow up with another hit song in February 2019 called Don't Look, which now has over 170 million views on YouTube. Another track where he got tough on the mic, rapping about catching bodies and people dying after going up against them. Up with another hit song in February 2019 called Don't Look, which now has over 170.
Had to make sure I wasn't tripping. That shit don't say over 170, nigga. That say 190. Well, I mean, yeah, I guess 190 technically over 170, but damn, bro. I feel like an extra 20 million views is not something that should be not mentioned. Nah, I'm just trolling. But I think it's hella funny like how he was aggro with the other one, and then this one is just like 20 mil off. But cause even the thumbnail is 20 mil off. So what the fuck really happened in time between maybe screenshotting? I don't know what the fuck happened. Where did the 20 million? Probably from, okay, never mind. Probably from events that play out later in this video.
20 million views on YouTube. Another track where he got tough on the mic, rapping about catching bodies and people dying after going up against them, as well as there being hits on him. The track also had an American-themed music video with plenty of lowriders bouncing through the scene, and the beat even had a little G-funk vibe to it, but overall was sounding a lot more dated than Moosewala's modern rap-inspired Punjabi anthems. But elsewhere on the song, Karan would hint towards his beef with Sidhu, rapping about not getting along with artists. But he too was on a legendary run that would continue until the end of 2019, with his next hit dropping on the 3rd of December, Cheetah Kurta, which translates relates to white tunic, a traditional ethnic clothing of Punjab, which Sidhu too can be often seen wearing. Now this song has almost 300 million views, and even some of the biggest rappers in the West struggle to get these kind of numbers. And to this day, it's rare to see a Karan Aujla track that doesn't explode internationally, and his most recent song, Nothing Lasts, managed to rack up 20 million views in just its first month. Sidhu had already gone on the run of a lifetime and cemented himself as a pioneering legend of Punjabi rap. But off the back of the beef with Sidhu in the year that followed, in many ways, Karan Aujla kind of caught up with him, cementing his own legacy with a string of hits garnering hundreds of millions of views. And despite the animosity between them, the beef had actually done wonders for their careers and images. However, in 2019, it would be a huge year for Sidhu too, but for reasons more than just music. It's just like Tupac.
I ain't gonna lie, if you know how to handle a beef, bro, that shit always gonna be something beneficial for your career, no matter what industry you in too. Like, if you can beef, if you got beef with a motherfucker, and you know how to move, it's so much to be gained. Lord, my confession is yours, but who am I if I don't go to war? I know there's opportunity when living with loss. I discover myself when I fall short. Nah, but I need to peep the lyrics. There's opportunity when living with loss, bro. You can't win if you don't expose yourself to a loss. You can't win if you don't expose yourself to losing, bro. That's real shit. So I ain't gonna lie, it's never a surprise. Like, I don't know if y'all knows, bro, but every single like situation that like goes insane is backed by beef. The whole for example, just a random example off the top of my head, Young and Ace and Who I Smoke beefing with them KTA niggas. Obviously Fulio with the When I See You beefing with the ATK niggas. You feel what I'm saying? This situation, these two niggas beefing. I'm a 1,000,000% guarantee, because this is talking about the death of the artist. There would not be a Trap Lord Ross 2.5 hour long documentary without the beef. Like, if Sidhu Moosewala just happened to be an artist, a Punjabi artist. Sorry if I'm like saying anything incorrect. It's not out of like disrespect. I'm just ignorant. I'm trying to learn, y'all. I'm sorry, but if he wasn't to die, we probably, I mean, obviously, what I'm saying, he'd be popular, but 2.5 hour documentary probably wouldn't be made about him. You know what I'm saying? I probably wouldn't have learned about him. Keeping it a bean, because the worlds don't clash. Tupac and Biggie, Pac was never bigger than he was before, before Hit 'Em Up and all that. Still Pac's most popular song. You feel what I'm saying? I think Nas' biggest career moment was Ether, easily. I don't know the true facts on that one, so I can't say that for as much certainty, but you know what I'm saying? Like, it's always, I won't say beefing is good, but shit, if you could go to war and win, you gotta go to war. Sometimes you just gotta go to war. Don't start a war. Don't start war. Don't start beef for no reason. That's not knowing how to go to war. I say you gotta go to war and know how to go to war. That's not knowing how to go to war. That's not good war. That's not good war. Don't start beef with just to start beef. Don't do that. That's not what I'm saying.
Shakur, who he modelled himself on, Sidhu had ambitions beyond rap. With a revolutionary spirit and hundreds of millions of followers watching his every move, Sidhu would soon hatch a plan to try and create an impact that was much bigger than music. And so in 2019, Sidhu Moosewala decided to make his rap lyrics much more political, casting his eye to the world of politics as he started using his music as a plan to get into the halls of power and try and make changes in his country and community. But the only problem is, not everyone would be happy about this hotshot celebrity rapper getting political. Unfortunately for Sidhu Moosewala, getting into politics and dissing the government meant he would soon attract the attention of the most powerful people in the country, who weren't about to let a young upstart seize control of the culture. Before you knew it, Sidhu would be going to war with the politicians and fighting a battle that might be impossible to win. Off the back of a string of hit songs, Sidhu Moosewala had gone from a small-town kid to one of India's biggest music stars. He'd found fame and fortune through his talent, but interestingly, he wanted to do much more with this gift than just getting rich and famous. Sidhu would explain in an interview that he ultimately decided to get into politics to improve the circumstances in the village he came from, launching a bid to become the head of his village so that he could better direct the money spent on developing his community. Explaining that now he's rich, he would love to pay to feed everyone in his village, but he needs to do things in the official way to make true lasting change.
That is why we decided to contest in the elections to be ahead of the village. Now we can do the work, but we are still limited. Whenever we have to pitch in personally, we are doing it. Now our gym is very important for the community.
People say there are other big villages in different districts.
Some say Sidhu only cares for his own village.
You know, we used to think we would be able to do it all, but whenever you need to get a bill passed, it needs to go to the ADC, then to the MLA, and then whoever else after that. That's the issue.
Can't you spend it out of your own pocket?
How much can I pay from my own pocket?
People say Sidhu has a lot of money.
Tell me the amount that I should spend. If you say give 4 million rupees and everyone in the village will be fed, I will do it.
You left Canada and come back to the village because you love it so much. Is there something you're planning to do for the village?
Brother, I am already doing it. You know how people act when they come back from abroad. I am taking ownership of my responsibility and will continue to do so, whether we get the village leadership or not.
So you would always keep working towards the development of your village?
Yes, always.
Yes, Sidhu had become famous recording music in Canada, but he wanted to come back to his humble village of Musa to try and make things better. And while it would be a few years before Sidhu would really immerse himself into politics, his political career started when he began campaigning on behalf of his mother, Charan Kaur, who was contesting for the post of Sarpanch, or president, at Musa village in the Mansa district. Sidhu would use his fame and notoriety to bring out fans and spread word of the campaign for his mother, and Sidhu was praised for attending the local campaigns regardless of his superstar reputation. He was credited by the Indian News for wearing his casual attire and remaining humble when supporting his mother, and the village would praise Sidhu for being humble enough to join them in person despite being a megastar at this point. Sidhu had shared the proposals for his mother's candidacy, including her plans to improve Musa with improvements to drinking water and sewerage in the village, and the family also agreed to take a harsh stance on the distribution of drugs within the local area, as in recent years, Punjab has been suffering from an opium epidemic which has resulted in many farms being ruined and families being subject to severe poverty, with stories of boys as young as 12 years old pushing drugs in the streets of the Punjab. And there's no lack of supply, as these drugs are mostly imported from Afghanistan, fresh from the source and extremely pure. Now this issue has become alarming, with the United Nations even commenting on how bad the situation's got. The problem is so rife that even pharmacies are allegedly dishing out opiates quicker than the dealers, with many not even requiring a prescription. And it's been said that the government and or the police may even be playing a part in spreading opium in the community, sometimes referred to there as feme. And there'd been minimal efforts to tackle the problem and aid the region, despite the formation of an anti-drugs task force and rehabilitation centers. But the issue has become so normal.
I'm not too surprised by that. That's exactly what they did with crack in America. My mother was introduced to that substance abuse by some of the strongest drugs that the government produced. Like, come on, bro. We been knew about that shit. I ain't gonna lie. Governmental bodies have been pushing bad thing. I was about to put the air quotes, but it's no air quotes. They've been pushing bad things into our community to try to destroy us from the inside. They've been doing that. Nigga, there's literal documents, you can read the letters of American settlers being like, yo, send a blanket with chicken pox on it. I mean, not chicken pox, send a blanket with, I can't remember what it was. It was something on it though. Like send a blanket with some type of, I can't remember. Damn. What the fuck was it that they was trying to send? It was whatever like disease was killing niggas back then. Whatever type of whatchamacallit was killing niggas back then. You feel what I'm saying? Virus was killing niggas back then. They was like, put that shit on a blanket and send it over here. We're gonna gift it to the Native Americans and kill them from inside. Like that literally happened. Y'all can look that up. Do your homework, do your research. Don't take what I say face value. Do your own research on shit that you're interested in knowing about. You feel what I'm saying? Because I'm not a credible source. You feel me? I don't know everything. You feel me? Do your homework on. I'm still learning. You feel what I'm saying? But nah, I believe that shit. They've been trying. They've been like doing a little sneaky smooth shit. That's why, bro. They always gonna win. They always gonna win. They able to do little sneaky smooth shit on the back door tip. Like, you feel what I'm saying? You out this bitch, you watching for anybody that come through the front door, you gonna blast they shit. You hate everybody that come through the front door. Old time round back, my nigga. Niggas is walking in and out the crib. You on the couch looking at the front door the whole time. You need to be in the kitchen looking out the back door, cause that back door wide open. They getting active, bro. Don't trust the government no matter where you from. That's just how you gotta rock, bro. You can't trust the government. What the fuck? They supposed to lie to you. To keep their power, they damn near gotta lie to you. And try to, you feel me, control shit. They got to keep their power. You feel what I'm saying? But no, I be at me. Let me chill.
Normalised that some Punjabi politicians are even calling for the legalisation of opium, claiming that it's actually part of the culture. Sidhu and his family felt very strongly about overcoming the opium epidemic. And in one interview, Sidhu also shares this as the reason that he never promotes drugs or alcohol within his music. Sidhu understood his influence over the youth, and he didn't want to make getting wasted look cool. And this could well have been a subtle dig at Karan Aujla, who famously was part of a series of songs all about getting wasted, with a music video filmed in a liquor store called Alcohol. Now, Sidhu also shared his plans to star and produce in Punjabi movies with positive messages to the youth. And in just 2 years of being an entertainer, Sidhu had his eyes on the top. He had already cemented himself as a star in music, he was now getting his feet wet in politics, and even planning to take on the film industry. And forget about being the Indian Tupac, Sidhu was now trying to become the Desi Arnold Schwarzenegger. This campaign turned out to be a success, and Sidhu's mother would actually win the election, beating her rival by 600 votes, and indeed becoming the president of the village. And this shows the influence and power that Sidhu Moosewala's family now had over the local area. Even in the West, a female politician winning an election can sometimes be seen as a sign of progressive success. But in Punjab, this woman winning the election was a huge deal, and not everyone would be happy about it. During this time, news of Sidhu's success and brash style had become making the rounds internationally, with many media outlets voicing their negative opinions on Sidhu, showcasing guns and violence in his music videos and lyrics, with some journalists even calling out Sidhu and the other rising Indian rappers as fake gangsters, questioning their street credibility and suggesting they'd never even touched guns, with this Canadian news outlet bashing South Asian artists for rocking the gangster image. However, local statistics kind of paint a different story, suggesting that in fact South Asian gangs in Canada are in fact incredibly deadly, responsible for a third of the violence in British Columbia. Canada, in fact,
I don't know why they taking that stance. That's a bad. I'm gonna let it play. I gotta stop pausing the video so much. I don't know why they trying to take that angle though. It's gangsters everywhere in the world. It's gangsters everywhere in the world. It's a. Why do you think just in the niggas only get active in maybe U.S. or Canada? Western minds really is different with it. They're yeah. I mean, come on, bro. Niggas, like, where you from don't change the fact that you can get mad or you can be from a poor area and be prone to violence. That can happen anywhere. Not saying those are the only people that gangsters are, but those type of people could be anywhere.
It has a very deep and dark history.
It's ghettos everywhere in the world, so it's got to be gangsters everywhere in the world.
For example, the notorious kingpin Bindi Johal and the several murders that he had allegedly committed and was connected to. He would often appear in news interviews and walk around freely, with his gang empire described by one outlet as something like a startup that scaled too fast. He was responsible for creating the Punjabi Mafia, who terrorized the streets of Vancouver in Canada through the 90s. His crew became infamous in the streets, and Bindi himself became so famous that he was actively being followed by news teams for updates on his murder cases.
Are you worried about your safety in India?
I never worry about my safety. My safety is no problem.
And what about the shootings last night?
Just move the camera. You might have to worry about your safety.
Hey, get that thing out of the face or I'll rip it right off your head. I don't give a okay? Get that thing.
He would go viral before being viral was even a thing, telling news reporters that the streets need to be scared because he's still around.
These guys to know you got another thing coming. I'm still around.
Unfortunately, he's no longer around. And just like every other high-profile crime boss, eventually things would come crashing down, as Bindi Johal was eventually gunned down in a nightclub in 1999. Perhaps due to these past issues with violent gangs, the Canadian media would prefer to keep any violent influence off the streets, and that included Sidhu Moosewala's raps about shooting ops and toting guns. But at this point, he was just getting started, and after a wild 2018, having reached the top of the Punjabi music scene and going toe-to-toe with another rising Indian rap star, releasing a classic album, and then using his fame to launch his mother into political power into his village, moving into 2019, Sidhu would keep that momentum going and set brave new levels for his music career. But the problem was, as he got more and more famous, he got more and more controversial, and his music would get increasingly violent with more and more lyrics about firearms. Combining that with his Sikh principles, warrior mentality, and lyrics calling upon the next generation of youth to rise up, the increasingly political Sidhu Moosewala might just become a problem for those who were really in charge. After going toe-to-toe with fellow Punjabi rap star Karan Aujla, Sidhu Moosewala released his classic debut album PBX1. The project spawned 3 main singles: Jat Da Muqabala, which came out soon after the album, that had a hook essentially calling out his competition and sneak dissing Karan Aujla. It would also have violent lyrics where he began to hint deeper at his street activity, rapping that he could be found at crime scenes and saying that he doesn't drink alcohol but he does play with guns. And he would rap about how big stars are scared of him since he came in the industry and how his ops run from him, as well as saying that his ops get jealous when they see him driving his G-Wagon, and ending the video with a message saying jealousy and success don't go together. Now, this song is an absolute banger. I've had this one on repeat since I found it. I just love the way that the beat and the melody kind of flow with his lyrics. It sort of reminds me of like a Punjabi version of French Montana's Shot Caller. Go and give it a listen. But anyway, on the track, Sidhu was sending boastful messages to his enemies, and the theme of playing gangster on the mic would continue into his next single titled Bad Fella, another certified hit that has 145 million views to date. This was another American-inspired beat where a lowrider is seen crawling through the city. But despite the influence from American gangster rap, the song itself would actually pay homage to the Canadian gangsters in Brampton, as Sidhu raps through the hook about having foreign gangsters all around him when he chills in the gang-related blocks of Brampton. And Sidhu rapped about having guns on him, shooting up trap houses, all while seemingly holding a police officer hostage. And he goes on to disrespect the police extensively on the track, rapping about how the police are following him and his crew and promising to destroy anyone in his way, saying that he can get to anybody and that his enemies are expensive, all while holding a rifle and saying that he will kill his enemies, and saying that he solves his problems with bullets. Now, this is also one of the first songs where Sidhu would actually begin his habit of speaking about his own death, as he raps that he knows he won't live long. Perhaps he didn't know it yet, but Sidhu would go on to refer to his own death frequently, and arguably spoke it into existence in his music. Now, Bad Fellas was one of his most violent songs.
Nah, you just know, bro. Especially in a place like that. Like, I personally know in Baltimore, if I get, like, in a place of power, my days is numbered. You just know, when you come from a place like that where people don't make it out, where you're not supposed to make it out, they're gonna do everything they can to make sure you won't make it out. I don't think it was him, like, manifesting it, or he talked about it a lot and it's strange. Like, nah, bro, you just know. When you got certain ambitions, certain goals, certain dreams, and you doing certain things from certain places, you're not supposed to make it, and the powers that be will do everything in their power to make sure you don't make it. You feel what I'm saying?
So far, and not everyone was feeling it. Soon after the video released, an NYPD officer of Punjabi heritage would release a video criticizing Sidhu for his violent lyrics and visuals, and for not respecting the police in the video, particularly the scene where he cuffs a police officer and has him slumped on his knees.
Good morning, everyone. I have seen the video to Moosewala's new song, Bad Fella. The song is very good, dude. The song is well written. The song is very good. But in the video, the guy made a little mistake. Dude, show me a policeman in this world who sits with his knees bent in front of you and bows his head. You talk like you know. We also support you. When the profession of others is not seen as low for praising your profession. How they get these jobs, you don't know. People work day and night to get these jobs. But they're still your fans.
That's real.
But
rap,
come here whenever where the police is behind you. If they run you over, then I will leave my job.
Now, Sidhu would actually respond to these comments, saying that it's just entertainment like a movie, that in the video he's just playing a character, going on to say that he thinks that they're just mad because it's him.
But that's real though.
If that was anyone else that was doing it, shooting the police, it would be fine. When it's Sidhu Moosewala harming the police, it's seen as bad. If it was a part in a film, an actor there is villains and heroes. Everyone has a moving part.
Perhaps the controversy caused Sidhu to change his ways, at least momentarily, as his next release would be the January 2019 track I'm Better Now, this time opting to tone down the violence, releasing a much more female-focused love song. This is a breakup song essentially told from a female perspective. Interestingly, this song was kind of a moderate success to Sidhu's standards, garnering over 55 million views to date. Good numbers for any artist, but Sidhu's somebody that can put up hundreds of millions of views on the right song. But from this run of singles, Bad Fella, the most violent of the tracks released so far, was the biggest success. Clearly, fans wanted the violent gangster rap from Sidhu Moosewala, and he would continue giving them what they wanted. In February 2019, Sidhu would release again, and it would end up being another huge hit, this time choosing producers who created a much more digestible sound for the Western countries, similar to his second hit single, So High. On the 26th of February 2019, Sidhu released possibly his best single to date, the track Legend, produced by The Kid, and the song features a West Coast style beat, continuing to lean into Sidhu's influence from Tupac and the G-Funk music style from California, but this song has almost 250 million views, and it was the first official release that Sidhu chose chose to put out on his own channel rather than on the
260
giant
million
label
plus
T-Series'
252
platform.
million.
And the song itself would apparently be released independently, meaning that financially Sidhu would be having a lot more to gain from his music from here on out. The song itself was once again concerned with his beefs and conflicts, and Sidhu opens the song saying that he has conflicts with countless people, followed by him once again eerily foreshadowing an early death, rapping that he knows his breaths are very limited, and going on to rap that even at such a young age, he's already considered a legend at this point at just age 25. And on the track, there would be plenty of gun talk too, with Sidhu boasting that he has a licensed firearm, even referring
That was my age is amongst the youngest artists, but my name is listed amongst the legends. Damn.
5. And on the track, there would be plenty of gun talk too, with Sidhu boasting that he has a licensed firearm, even referring to the gun as his girlfriend. And in the next verse, Sidhu takes further shots at Karen Aujla, addressing the social media shots that were fired at him, saying that in real life they would not touch a hair on his head. He then references an interview where Aujla praised Sidhu's musical talent, claiming that silently Aujla is a fan. Sidhu then again mentions how his time here is limited, creepily somehow knowing at this point that his life was indeed in its last moments, and how his photo will be spread with breaking news as if Sidhu already knew what would happen after his eventual fate. The bridge of the song then samples a notorious B.I.G. verse, again showing Sidhu's influence from that 90s golden age of hip-hop. Sidhu would then enter the third verse mentioning how his lyrics will live forever and how one of his songs is equal to a dozen of his competitors. During this time, Sidhu was really starting to break into the mainstream, becoming a titan in the Punjabi music industry. And even though he only had one full-length project to his name at this point, the number of views and streams on his singles cemented these as generational hits in India. Just like the song said, he was now a legend of the game at only 25, and he would continue this once-of-a-lifetime run, releasing hit after hit. Next was the love song Chosen, which now sits over 80 million views, followed by another street track called Outlaw that today sits over 58 million views. And Outlaw portrayed Sidhu like a real mob boss, calling his ops and telling them the exact time that he would be having them killed, and saying that he could have anyone kidnapped at any time. And the video featured a whole bunch of high-powered weapons, with Sidhu throwing the rifle to his hitters and taking out an op personally. And in the lyrics, Sidhu is claiming to have a large group of shooters and saying that you can't ever kill his whole gang, and that messing with his crew will lead to your certain death. He raps that his gang is out all night doing crimes, and they wear their accusations like medals, and that the things they have to do in the streets get the government talking. A bold and interesting lyric, considering there had already been outcry about violent lyrics and promoting firearms against Sidhu and other Punjabi artists all through 2018 and 19. Anyway, on the track, Sidhu would also once again meditate on his own impending death, rapping that any moment could be their last. In April, he would drop his next track, East Side Flow, which now sits over 158 million views. And this was another American-themed track, with a video decked out in lowriders, and of course Sidhu's beloved Mercedes G-Wagon. At one point, he even hid a headline in the video, which was a Times of India article discussing Punjabi on Punjabi violence in Brampton in Canada. Now, this was an article that reported on apparent violent clashes between Punjabi groups on a Brampton college campus, amid suggestions that Indian gangsters were moving to Canada under the guise of studying, but then getting in the streets. Elsewhere in the East Side Flow video, Sidhu would also show a thumbnail from a YouTube channel called Severa Star Hawks, who had dropped a video about him. Now, this YouTube channel actually reports extensively on the Punjabi rap scene and has made dozens of videos about Sidhu, regularly keeping track of any times the police have spoken out against him or any times that he clapped back, as well as having interviewed him personally at his home, where in one clip he actually asked Sidhu about the rising prominence of firearms in Punjabi culture, with Sidhu explaining that the wider culture dictates what everybody wears, eats and does, explaining that there's a time for everything, I guess including guns. He would also point out that there were times in the 80s and 90s where people got very active in the streets, suggesting that this is more to do with what's happening in wider society rather than the musicians making everyone violent with their songs.
Controversy has arisen and caused discussions. Some came from South India and claim that people want to start speaking Punjabi because in the Punjabi songs they are talking about guns, and since then there has been an increase in crime and drugs. What does Sidhu Moosewala think of this?
First of all, we ask those who talk about culture, what is the definition of culture? What is culture? What kind of clothes someone wear? It changes in time. The way a person eats, behaves, the culture that a person has in the surrounding environment. That's the culture. The 80s and 90s were the time when there was a talk of getting up and burning. Expensive cars were not available then. It used to be a matter of getting up and going. And when there was such atmosphere, you talk with that calculation.
But anyway, despite the controversy surrounding his violent lyrics, Sidhu continued leaning into his gangster persona. His next song was titled Mafia Style, and today sits over 60 million views, despite not even having a music video. And the song had an interesting concept, where Sidhu rapped that when he has his wedding, it has to be Mafia style, with a convoy of G-Wagons, guns in his jacket, and both British pounds and American dollars being thrown into the sky. But while Sidhu's gangster reputation had the whole of India talking, his street persona would ultimately begin to cause him problems with his career. He was blocked from performing in British Columbia, Canada, due to the police having and concerns of violence popping off at the show. Unable to perform in summer 2019, Sidhu would get back in the studio and continued making hits, and his next anthem would come in August 2019 when he released the song Same Beef with Bohemia and Big Bird. And the track didn't disappoint fans who had grown to love Sidhu's tough as nails gangbanging lyrics. In Same Beef, Sidhu would rap about catching cases, gaining more ops, and being a shooter, and still beefing with the same people from his past, despite his newfound fame and success. He would even claim in one ominous bar that he still rides around in the same car and that he's not hiding from anyone. Sidhu also prophetically mentions how the bullet is his beginning and end, as well as saying that Toronto is still his hood. Big Bird then possibly sends some more shots at Karen Aljula, claiming that boys have become rich by copying him. And Sidhu later continues to flex his weaponry, claiming to have more weapons than friends, which is essential for his enemies. The track was clearly a shot at his ops, and Sidhu was doubling down on the violent themes that were attracting him attention, both good and bad. And the formula was working. This song was a huge hit today and sits over 500 million views. While Sidhu was capable of making love songs, it was those tough gangster rap bangers that really got him the numbers. But the following month, Sidhu experienced one of his first brushes of controversy beyond his violent lyrics when he released the song Jati Jion Morwagi. Ironically, the song didn't include any violent lyrics this time around. It was actually his usage of the name of a sacred figure in Sikh culture that actually had people offended. The song itself was more of a love song where Sidhu praises a tough woman who he says has strength, guts, a good name, and the ability to fight. But the deeper connotations of the song and its connection to the Sikh faith left some people upset. The track was condemned by the Sikh religious community, largely because the song was made to praise the Jat caste, which technically actually goes against one of the main pillars of the Sikh religion, which is to remove the caste system and treat people equally. As Sidhu was seen by the Sikh community as a turban-wearing entertainer who had made his Sikh faith part of his image, the religion's followers believed then that Sidhu had a responsibility to represent the faith correctly in his songs. More specifically, due to the song being centered around a young, attractive, gun-wielding Jat woman who keeps male gangsters in line, he projected her as a modern incarnation of Jiona Moore. Moore, a colonial-era bandit known for vigilante violence, is a revered figure and seen as a symbol of bravery, essentially something like a kind of Robin Hood of the Punjab. And the song also seemed to allude to the 18th century Sikh warrior Mai Bhago, which is apparently what offended the Sikhs the most. Ironically, it wasn't the promotion of violence and guns which he had done for years in his music, but actually offending his religious elders that got him in the most trouble. Making a song where he put himself and his Jats above the rest of society, and confessing his love for a gangster woman who is based on a sacred figure from his religion, had the Sikh community furious, and things were very serious. Faced with the threat of a criminal case being lodged against him, Sidhu would have to face the Akal Takht, the highest temporal seat.
Nah, I ain't saying that's how they was talking. I'm just saying, what the fuck is the doing from? No, that was some dickhead shit in it. How y'all fucking with my UK accent? That shit go hard? Nah, I be fucking up. My fault. But yeah, I could definitely see why this would get him the most backlash. Just listening to it, it's like you should have known better, bro. You feel me? But he just wanted to rep his folks. He just wanted to rep it. You know what I'm saying? He always uplifting, you feel me, the Jet class. You feel what I'm saying? And he just wanted to, you know, shoot a little video with it, you know, up in the guys with the badge on. You feel what I'm saying? But you know what I'm saying? He definitely should have had somebody in his ear before he dropped that. Like they not gonna fuck with it. You feel what I'm saying? Yeah, he should have had, you know, somebody in his ear telling him, hey.
Of the Sikhs. Seen at the bottom of the golden temples, this symbolises the dispensing of justice. Sidhu would face the consequences of what he had said, and he would also issue a written apology that was circulated publicly. Interestingly, fans would actually gain respect for Sidhu after he so humbly accepted his wrongdoing and asked his religious elders for forgiveness in the best way possible. But it would seem that Sidhu had learned the hard way that there would indeed be limits when it came to pushing the boundaries with his art, and in the Punjabi world, offending the faith is a far bigger violation than promoting the gangster image. So, Sidhu would humbly move forward from this incident and continue developing his career. The same month he was going through this scandal in September 2019, he was also still racking up W's, having released another hit song, Dogar, as part of a prominent movie release, which racked up tens of millions of views. The movie itself, titled Terry Mari Jodi, also had a part for Moosewala. He was becoming a big star in India, and soon after this, he would begin having more and more success internationally, as also in 2019, Sidhu had gotten in contact with UK-based Punjabi and Sikh producer Steel Bangles. This connection was huge for Sidhu's future and legacy in music, as this connection gave him access to network with many international artists artist that Steel Bangles also worked with, as well as having top-tier production and mastering for his music. This connection would truly bridge the gap between the East and the West, allowing Sidhu to collaborate with many huge Western artists with some of the best beats in the game, so that he could truly conquer the international markets. And once Sidhu and Steel Bangles linked up, they would form a bond for life, collaborating on multiple songs together and eventually releasing a full-length album titled Moose Tape. Steel Bangles shares the same Punjabi and Sikh heritage as Sidhu, with his name Steel Bangles actually referring to the kara worn on the right hand of all Sikhs, which is one of the religion's 5 Ks. The kara symbolizes an attachment to God, something that of course you would always see Sidhu wearing too. Now, Steel Bangles is a legendary hitmaker in the UK, and he's worked with an all-star list of UK artists, producing numerous classic hits, bangers with Mo Stack and AJ Tracy, and just crazy.
Y'all want me to get some Mo
and his
Stack?
production had played a huge role in the rise of Birmingham rapper, now influencer boxer Mist. Mist himself was a huge staple in the Punjabi community, as he heavily featured Punjabi slang and language in his hit rap songs, such as the words apnars, which is a term South Asians use to determine another one of their own people, kalas, which means black people, and goras, which means white people. With the UK rap scene exploding, and with Punjabi lingo being pushed to the forefront, this was the perfect time for Sidhu to collaborate. And in October 2019, after first establishing that close relationship with Steel Bangles, they would release a joint track titled 47, featuring Mist and legendary female rapper Stefflon Don. This is yet another track detailing Sidhu's love for firearms, with the song being called 47 to pay homage to the infamous automatic rifle, the AK-47. The beat itself features a traditional Punjabi sarangi being played over trap drums and heavy 808s. Another song that made it easy for Western audiences to digest the Punjabi sound, as well as another perfect example of just how infatuated Sidhu was with gangster rap from all different countries. And with a producer like Steel Bangles on the beat, the quality of the production was on a whole nother level, better than a lot of the stuff in Sidhu's discography so far. Further, choosing to collaborate with the UK rap legends like Mist and Stefflon Don on the same track put millions of eyes on Sidhu that he had never had on him before. The song will begin with Sidhu explaining that he will stand tall in front of gun barrels, never fearing death. And as the 808s drop, Sidhu sings the chorus explaining that his enemies call him 47 because of the AK that he's known to tote. Mist then begins his verse, rapping in a mix of Punjabi and English, saying that he blew a chase from the Mame, which is Punjabi from police. Sidhu then continues, singing about his infamy and how he keeps an arsenal of weaponry, even mentioning how his lyrics have shot down his enemies, eventually ruining their careers. Karen Algila is reeling after that one. Sidhu would also claim that his name is associated with a number of cases because he takes people's breath away. He then mentions his contradictions in religion as he starts the day with prayers and ends the day with sin, asking the listener to check the news to see what he's all about. And again, he mentions his warrior lineage and how he was built for fighting. 47 was a certified banger that appealed to people in both Western rap and Punjabi music. Sidhu's fame and exposure was about to reach a new high in the UK as the song exploded. It now sits at 82 million views, which is insane numbers for the UK rap scene, which, remember, the UK is like the size of just one American state. It was likely that even though Mist and Stefflon Don were big stars in their own right in the UK, this song was a huge W for their careers too. This ended up being Mist's most viewed song of his career, with his second most viewed video currently being at 58 million views, and for Stefflon Don, this ultimately became her 5th most viewed single on YouTube. The song was a mainstream success and even landed at number 17 on the official UK singles charts. And this song was also when Sidhu began becoming the perfect recipe for success in the YouTube reaction community. As these crossover tracks were getting such big numbers, English-speaking reactors would jump online, making videos reacting to the lyrics and breaking them down, which ultimately grew their own audiences in the Punjabi world, with many reactors getting their most viewed videos to date reacting to Sidhu Moosewala's new song. Sidhu, Stefflon and Mist would go on to perform the song at the Brit Asia Music Awards in 2019, with that performance itself sitting at 30 million views. And on the same night, Sidhu had a clean run at the awards, winning in 4 categories, including the Best Album Award for PBX1, as well as Track of the Year for Legend, and the award for Best International Male Act, and Best Lyricist. It was safe to say that Sidhu ended 2019 on an all-time high, after bridging the gap with his Western audience and sweeping the award shows on an international stage. The next year, Sidhu chose to continue bridging that gap, reaching new highs in both India and abroad. And another development would be that throughout 2020, Sidhu began getting more and more active on social media, and he would treat his social media presence the same way as his music. In fact, online, he chose to go all out on the gangster persona, showing off his firearms as well as the tattoos he was getting and letting the world know that he was really living the dangerous lifestyle he portrayed in his raps, taking the authentic gangster rap persona to levels never really seen before in the Punjabi music community. But behind the scenes, it wasn't just his gangster persona that was developing, but also his real ties and interactions with real gangs in the underworld of India and Canada, with these dangerous activities ultimately attracting him a lot of negative attention that would ultimately come back to haunt him, from both the gangsters running in the streets of India and Canada, as well as the authorities that are meant to protect him from them.
Damn, you see all the comments are just recent comments from days ago with heartbroken emojis and crying emojis. That shit's so sad to see, bro. But hey, we are going to get the fuck up out of here. I gave y'all boys an hour of that. You know what I'm saying? Had to make sure I came back with a good one because I was fucking up last time. You feel me? My bad, y'all. But hey, if y'all enjoying this, make sure y'all like these videos, man. I'm gonna get part 3 out to y'all as fast as I possibly can. Can we get like 2 likes? I don't know how many views these hoes gonna get. Yeah, let's shoot for like 2 likes on this video, man. Thank y'all for 1,000. I'm gonna see y'all niggas in the next video. Peace out, y'all, and be safe.